sad when I reject somebody saying that you're absolutely useless. I feel sad because you spent 4 years in the college and you come for a job. At that point of time I say, no, you don't have a knowledge. I feel that I'm not belittling you, I belittle myself. There's something wrong with the system, that there's something wrong with the society. Focus on fundamentals. Thank you.
I want a little advice that you are running such a great organization, have started and made it so successful. Sir, if we want to follow the same path, how do we need to proceed?
Thank you. That's a big question. But I'll tell you, I have to give you an answer because let me do one thing. Let me get my watch out. So I know exactly. I believe it's 3:30. 3:30, yes. So therefore, I'm not going to take 15 minutes to answer your question. Madhavi, you said, right? Harita, sorry, Harita. We work on a number of frameworks. Frameworks which made our companies successful. The first framework we call it as the values framework. Our foundation is values. Our values first. What is FIRST? Is fairness, integrity, respect, sincerity, and trust. I have to have every employee in the company. Then I'll come down to that. Is that so? The foundation is values. There are 4 pillars on top of it called 4 stakeholders. The customer, the investor, the employee, they call associates, and the society. All 4 of them are at play to make the company successful. They have cross purposes. An investor requires a big return on his money. A customer requires a low price for the work that we do for them. We need to balance it off. When you are equitable to these 4 partners, with the same type of values, comes a successful company. Values, equity to share stakeholders. That's first framework, which we call it as the values framework. The second framework we call it as the business framework. The business framework says, pardon me, but I'll use a lot of acronyms. It's called PSPD. PSPD is business has to be profitable, sustainable, predictable, and finally it has to be de-risked. We work on that framework. Profit is not a bad word. Profit in business is essential. I run a business I built in 21 years. It might raise a few eyebrows, but I'm an honest person. I put 20 lakhs of my money into this business. That 20 lakhs today has grown to be somewhere in the range of about 600 to 800 crores of my money. The rest of the money came from shareholders. That's another, we have under 3,000 crores or so of that money. So therefore, if we can work on this particular profit, how does companies grow? How does companies get valuation? Primarily they come from the simple fact that you have to have the profit motive. We get down to a level where we say project profitability. Every project that comes has to be profitable. At my revenue profile, it's about 2,200 crores at this point of time, 200 active customers, 1,800 active projects. So you need to have an information system which runs all of them. We all believe in terms of what is called control towers. Control tower to you is what you see in an airport. You can sit on a control tower, see which aircraft is landing and just take it off. I, as a managing director of the company, sit on my desk and I can understand how much invoicing is done on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, what's the profitability on a weekly basis to us. So therefore, the business second paradigm, it has to be sustainable. It has to be predictable, and finally it has to be de-risked. That's the second framework. A third framework, I'll just touch on that, is a framework called our operating framework, which we call it as .ppt. Does it ring the bell anywhere? What is .ppt? PowerPoint presentation, right? So for us, it's not PowerPoint presentation. PPT is people, processes, tools, technology, and training. Our ability to recruit people, retain people, reward people, retrain people. Our obsession, that's the right word, obsession in measurement, that's process. So therefore there are a number of frameworks that we have, no more than 5 of them, including one of them which I'm sure if you will like it and I'll stop there, is an inclusive framework we call it. we want women employees to be as many as the men employees. So therefore, at the same time, it's not physically possible today, given the constraints that we have, we still run it around a number called 25%, 26%. Control Tower says Mr. Reddy does not sign off on freshers approval without 30% women employees. So you need to work on a number of paradigms to ensure you run a successful company. Thank you. I will stop there. Good afternoon.
I'm Amina from final year IT. My question is, every year many engineering students get graduated every year. But and as an engineering student, we try our best to gain as much knowledge as possible. And yet people say that engineers are not worthy of getting jobs. So what can we do to overcome this?
Good question, Amina. It is a very serious question that you have. I not only run a business, but I'm also very concerned about society. So therefore, it's a very serious question that you have. But maybe one thing that I completely differ with you, if the quality of the engineer is good, I am 100% sure that they are finding the job. Only when the quality is in questionable area, they are not finding the job. But with a major caveat, quality not being there, not being good, is not only the responsibility of the child, it's also the responsibility of people on this side of the table. Mr. Nageshwar Rao, people like me have to leave him apart. He's only the management. So therefore, unless we teach you well, we don't get the good quality out of you. Unless you work hard, you won't have the good quality. While it's true, some of them are not finding jobs, it's also a question of how the economies are running. It's a bit larger question. But I can assure you, if you're a good engineer, you can find a job. I'll leave my name card with you, send me an email with your resume. Okay? Thank you.
Professor Rajendra was the degree department. Always, more oftenly, industry people used to say that the academia is failing to bridge the gap between the industry and the institution. Even after the universities are revising the syllabus more frequently within a span of 2 or 3 years. So would you suggest some better practices that what we can meet the industry requirement from the institutions?
Sorry, say it again, last thread of your question. I'm sorry.
More oftenly, the industry people used to say that the academy is failing to bridge the gap between the requirement of the industry from the institution. Even after the universities revise the syllabuses and practices of existing technologies, would you please suggest what better practices we can put in our academies so that our students can be easily recruitable in our campus?
Good question. That is what the expectation of the industry is and what the academia was doing. The good news we have is we are talking to each other. There is an interaction, and I think there's a third partner we are forgetting at this point of time, and that's the government. Government in the form of AICT, form of UGC, and so on and so forth. That's the third angle to it. Now, in the third angle, the issue that comes up is government also has become a little more liberal, little more lenient in making sure that we can definitely change the curriculum. So curriculum is one aspect of it, but is it being fully taught is the next aspect of it. Now I'll go back to enthalpy, entropy, Otto cycle, diesel cycle. Those are the concerns that we have, and that is the challenge, and I have made a submission to your management. Please look at digital mode of delivering lectures to people. The Udacities and the Coursera's, the Khan Academies of the world make a lot of difference in terms of teaching. Because all said and done, you won't have the faculty which has got the 20